Hello, I am the eccentric raven, reader and writer, and Halloween fan. Yeah, I love Halloween. I think Halloween and Christmas are like my favorite holidays. So today is October 1st, my favorite month of the year. And it's also the first day of the readathon, Chaos-a-Ween, like the October Halloween variation of Chaos-a-thon, which is hosted by Sky's Library. So the way that it goes is that it has, a kind of a bingo board, and you roll the dice, and the prompt that you pick, which will be either a self-care prompt or a reading prompt, you pick it based on your dice results. So after you do that prompt, you then roll the dice again and then see what you get. Alright, so I have my dice in hand, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to roll and see what I get. Alright, here goes nothing. Ah, phooey. Had to roll underneath the door. Alright, let's just try again. Ooh. Right, a 2 and a 4 for 6. What does that give us? Alright, so getting a 2 and a 4 gives me a couple choices. I could either read something under 300 pages or read nonfiction. I thought to myself, well, I might as well read something that would go under both of those. So my nonfiction pick is Shipwreck at the Bottom of the World, the true story of the Shackleton and the Endurance. The true story of Shackleton and the Endurance by Jennifer Armstrong. This is some middle grade nonfiction telling the true story about the first expedition in Antarctica, way back in the early 20th century. It already looks like a pretty intriguing read, so I'm going to read this and see what it's like. I do need to first go out on a walk because, even though I did not get the go on a walk prompt, I still need to go on walks anyways because doctor's orders. Alright, so once I read this, I will get right back to you. I might even get to read outside on the picnic bench. That would be nice. Oh boy, this book took forever to read. I thought I'd be able to read it in 2 days, but it took twice as long because it was really slow paced, so don't let the length deceive you. It's 126 pages long, but it took so long. I think part of the reason why it's slow paced is so that the reader can kind of feel the duration that the explorers had to go through. Because this is, the true story about, Shackleton and the exploration team who he led, from 1914 to 1916, who intended to be like the first to cross the continent of Antarctica, but the mission didn't go well. Their ship ended up being locked in ice, and eventually, their ship, crashed and sank, and they then had to spend like so many months just carrying their 3, small boats across the ice on over to the furthest, tip of the continent, so then they could launch their boats to go find rescue. But this book is really amazing despite that. It provides a lot of really fascinating facts about Antarctica. It provides a lot of info about, the wildlife there, and a lot about, how going through a survival experience like this can just really break you. It does pretty well, describing all the different crew on Shackleton's team who had, so many different, backgrounds. Some were sailors and some were just, scientists. Now, I did have a similar kind of issue that I had with another book I read earlier this year. I read Good Master, Sweet Ladies, Voices from a Medieval Village, which is a good book, a Newbery Medal winner, but it is a bit kind of too advanced for middle grade readers. And I would say the same here for this as well. This book, great as it was, fascinating as it was, it really needed a glossary. There were so many words that, I had to go onto the online Merriam-Webster for to look up the definition. But at the same time, it's so inspiring, too. It just really wows you, just seeing the incredible kind of, character and endurance and the great leadership abilities that Shackleton had. And you just really feel their pain, but at the same time, you just really see how, this crew, they just went through so much were able to just pull out of and survive what should have been like near impossible odds. They really overcame some impossible odds. Despite the slow pace and advanced reading levels, this really was a really good book that I recommend. I gave it 4.75 stars. Alright, so now that that's done, it is time for me to roll the dice again. A 2 and a 5. Okay, so I have two choices here. So let's see here. 2 and a 5, watch a movie. Or 2 and a 5, play a game. Well, I think I'd be most interested in watch a movie. Alright, so I'm going to ask my mom how she feels about watching a movie tonight. And if she doesn't like it, then I'll just play a game. Alright, I asked Mom, and we've decided to watch the recent Pixar film, Elio. So that will be my activity this evening. First I'm going to go on a walk, as I need to for health reasons, but when I get back, we'll start watching that movie. Yay! Wow, my mom and I just watched Elio, and it was such a cute movie. In fact, I'll give a rec right now. If you're doing our fantasy bingo, and for the square, not a book, if you're trying to look for a good movie to watch, Elio's a good choice. It was so cute. I mean, Pixar did some really incredible animation in it, and it was a good, family-oriented, kid-friendly science fiction story. I like how it portrays aliens, discovering, the Voyager. Ever since, I was a kid, I've wanted to write a science fiction story about aliens discovering the Voyager. And about 15 years ago, I actually did do that. It was my third NaNoWriMo novel, a science fiction story about first contact. So I like how this film, dealt with that subject. Yeah, but Elio just had, some of, Pixar's greatest animation. And I love, too, how it had such a good family-oriented message. That's one of the things I like about Pixar films. And it was just so creative and inventive, too. I had kind of doubts at first about Elio, only because reviews seemed to be mixed. But after watching it myself, I want to say, as far as I was concerned, it was a great film. I would say 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10. Alright, so that was a nice, lovely evening watching Elio with my mom. So now, next, I'm going to roll the dice again and see what I get. Will it be a book or a self-care activity? Well, we'll find out. Alright, dice, do your worst. 5 and 4. Okay, so when it comes down to options with 4 and 5, I could do something creative or date night. So I just now essentially did date night by watching a movie with my mom. So I'm going to do something creative. Yeah, now would be a very good time for me to do something creative because of how I really need to catch up on my writing. I put a pause on my writing because I was going through a lot of stress, but my creativity was shut in this jar, and it's just been trying so hard to break its way out. Alright, so now I'll work on that tonight.
Are you afraid of the dark? I can see you. I'm coming closer. I will catch you. The time it goes tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Are you afraid of the dark? Are you scared? I am you.
That was pretty nice. I was able to get some writing done. I almost finished writing a scene that I've been working on. So I'm going to settle down for the night right now. I might be able to write in my journal and do some video editing, but right now I just need to focus on getting ready for bed. And then tomorrow will be my next roll of the dice. Hello again. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, and I'm going to roll the dice again to see what I get. I'm pretty excited about this. I hope I get doubles because the best reading prompts are under doubles. So, let's see what I get. My fate is in your hands. Or, my fate is in my hands. A 2 and a 1. Oh, that had to be the two hardest self-care prompts. The social media breaks and self-care evening. Alright, I cannot do the social media break because I actually do need to finish editing a couple of videos and get them scheduled. The self-care evening, there's quite a few things I can do for that. Alright, so for the self-care evening, there are a few things I can do to help take care of myself and my home. First I'll go on an extra long walk. I usually walk for about, 10 minutes, but this time I'll see if I can walk for at least, 30 minutes. Then after that, I'll work on a couple of parts in our house that need cleaning. And I'll also see if I can finish editing those videos so that I can get them scheduled and not need to worry about them. Hey, reporting back. So I was able to go on a nice long walk and spent a lot of time outside. Now afterwards, though, I then got interrupted by some family things that came up. I needed to make a few phone calls, so I was not able to do the cleaning that I'd hoped to do. I was at least able to, relax a bit, watch TV with my mom, wrote in my, journal while finishing editing a video. So I'm ready to call it a night and get ready for bed. But first I want to do one more roll. I'm hoping that when I roll this time, I'll be able to get, a reading prompt. Alrighty. Yeah. 5 and a 3. Ooh, that was a really good roll. See, with a 3 and 5, I could do either back to school or orange cover. I was pretty happy to get that prompt because of my choices here. For back to school, I want to read Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. And for orange cover, I want to read The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. So I think I will first read Tuesdays with Morrie, since that one will fulfill several Storygraph challenges that I really want to complete. So I'm eager to read this timeless classic, and this is a bit of a more recent classic. So with that, I'm going to end this vlog. This has been the first 7 days of Chaos-a-Ween. If you are participating, please feel free to share what you have done so far, what you've read so far. What's your TBR or pile of possibilities? Yeah, please leave a comment. And if you made it to this part of the video, please be sure to include an emoji of something related to school. There is a schoolhouse emoji. Leave an emoji of the schoolhouse. Thank you for watching. The Eccentric Raven signing out.